remember the Righteous?
Yes, I do remember the Righteous. We lost them this year.
The Righteous are dog shit.
Okay.
And they're in TNA right now.
Yeah, of course they are. Friggin'. Okay, my thing, I don't know. When we first saw the Righteous, you never liked him. You didn't like the gimmick. You thought it was
Corny.
Corny. Fucking. I don't know. It's not like I liked them, but I wanted to like, because it was like so culty and weird. Like, I wanted to like that aesthetic. I thought they were going to be kind of fun. I liked what I saw of their gimmick. I don't remember them wrestling at all, though.
You know me. I love weird and spooky shit in my wrestling. I love a character who's from parts unknown and shit like that. I loved Bray Wyatt when Bray Wyatt started because he started with the cult thing. I forgot what. It was some actor from a movie. I'd have to look it up to figure it out, but he wore Hawaiian shirts and the cadence he spoke in, and he modeled himself after that guy, and it worked. He did a great job. I love Bray Wyatt, miss Bray Wyatt, but the Righteous are corny and hacky and fucking, I don't know why. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. They're just two weirdos. You got the weird dude who's skinny and has got the dreads.
Yeah.
And then you got the fat preacher man. Oh, I guess
he's supposed to be a preacher man?
Well, I mean, you know, I would think so. Because their whole thing is join us, and I'm sure it's like you got the leader guy, and then you got the right hand man guy. I don't know. They were never on TV, so I don't fucking know. But apparently they
we saw them like a handful of times.
They beat the Hardy Boys for
they're
tag team belts. Yeah, they're doing shit right now.
Good for them. Did you know the news? Do you know today?
I've been up for like an hour. What happened today?
Okay, so no, there's a lot going on today. So today, January 1st, we're coming off of Dynamite last night, obviously. Willow winning the TBS championship was the last thing to happen in AEW in 2025, and it was a perfect ending to the year, in my opinion. But no, today is also kind of important, because today is the day that Chris Jericho's AEW contract has officially expired. ...
Great. Great.
The inevitable, the thing that I have been avoiding all of 2025. It's right on the first day of the next year. But yeah, so Jericho, I mean, it's just the contract is up. I haven't seen, anything official, but you said the Rumble shit was leaked and he's in that, so I'm assuming he's out.
Yeah, that's... Well, I mean, he was out anyways. He's doing the Jericho cruise again, and not only is there no AEW people on it.
I'm not allowed. You're banned.
I mean, I don't know about all that, but I think there are some. I'm gonna look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure there is some WWE folk on the lineup this year. Yeah, the Hardy Boys and shit. They're gonna be there. Fucking.
I mean, part of me wants to be like benefit of the doubt, like the last Jericho cruise before this one. It was like all AEW people. I don't know if there were any WWE folks or any other promotion or whatever. So
Saraya's gonna be there.
Oh, Paige!
Paige is gonna be there.
Oh! Boo.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of WWE and old WWE people and TNA people. Oh, Chris Van Vliet's gonna be there. That's fine. But anywho, no, I absolutely, like, even if it's not, the Rumble,
yeah,
he's going back. He's gonna get that Legends contract. He's gonna fucking coast for a while, and that way he doesn't have to run the risk of being booed like he did on AEW because the shit he was doing sucked.
Nobody liked Learning Tree. I tried to like it. I wanted to like it. I feel like there were like 2 funny moments maybe the entire time. It went on so long. And unfortunately, Big Bill and the Bad Apple, Brian Keith, I feel like both of them were so much better than just being stuck to Jericho's side, which is so weird to say because Jericho, in my opinion, is a goat, but fuck all that. But anyway, yeah.
I mean, he did a lot. He came over to AEW. He did his thing, and I guess that's how he's always kind of been. He's never really been like. I think he's been in like every fucking promotion. Just because.
Just
I mean,
because.
he's definitely been in New Japan. He went down to Mexico and did that for a while. I mean, he really has been all over the place. So, I mean, I figure it's just one of those things. He's gotten old and he's decided that, it's time for him to get out there. And he's Chris Jericho and he's gonna,
Get out there.
he's gonna do stuff. He's gonna do stuff, but no.
He's gonna retire soon. Like a lot of these guys, like we feel it with Edge and Christian. Like they're coming up on retirement. I think even that's the whole long game with the fucking Hardy Boys right now. That's why they went over to TNA. Like they want to finish their careers, according to Matt, in WWE. They want to retire in WWE. And so TNA was their in there. And of course, like soon after the Hardy Boys got into TNA, now boom, WWE owns that shit. So like the bridge is built. It's just a matter of time. But a lot of these guys, a lot of the dudes from that era, from your era of wrestling, from the Attitude Era, they're looking at retirement. They're like, I'm done. And that's fair. They're old. But yeah, Jericho just wants to get that bag. He wants to stop wrestling and he wants to get that bag, and he thinks that WWE is going to give him some grandiose retirement tour.
I just couldn't imagine anybody being like, yeah, WWE's going to give me a retirement that's going to be remembered for the ages. Look what they did to Big Match John.
I was just thinking that, like, seriously, look at the retirement run of Cena that we just saw, and you're telling me, like, Chris, you watched that and you were like, oh yeah, that's where I want to be. Meanwhile, over at AEW, look at Sting, and I mean, he's going to come up in 2025. He was back this year for a brief moment, and it was epic. Fucking AEW knows how to treat legends, which is kind of crazy for such a young company, and to only have had a certain amount of legends work with them. But I really think that they do a very respectful job. But
I'm only giving it a short little bit more time before Tony Khan does something like announces an AEW Hall of Fame.
No, Hall of Fame. I just, like I said, they're such a young company. I feel like a lot of people would probably, shit on that, because they shit on everything. Anyway.
Well, I don't know how they could with a year like in 2025 that AEW has had. I mean, it's been mostly just great, good shit, and that's actually why we're here, to talk about 2025 and AEW and how great it was, with some bumps in the road, because it wasn't perfect, but for the most part, it was better than WWE.
Okay, picture it. 2025, January. We're coming off of a pretty disenfranchised fucking 2024, if we're honest,
Pretty bad, pretty bland.
Pretty bland. The storylines were hard to keep up with. I wasn't super interested or invested. I don't know. 2024 is rough. So again, we're coming off the heels of that. It's January 2025. Maximum Carnage is in full effect. And that's kind of a bummer, too.
Minimum Carnage is more like it.
That's so good. Literally, that's the whole problem. Like, for a name called Maximum Carnage, it was like, it's just the least level of carnage we probably could have had. I mean, I don't know. Hangman and Christopher Daniels, I guess, stood out because the Hangman killed that man.
I mean, there really wasn't much story-wise going on, I guess because it was the start of the year. And, I mean, I don't know. They were still trying to... Yeah, because Moxley had the title at the time, so they're trying to push the Death Riders. Everybody's hating it. It's not a good time for AEW. They had the title belt hidden. Nobody got to see it. It wasn't very fun. It
was a terrible time in the zeitgeist of the men's world championship. I think it was. I don't know. It wasn't a good moment. But regardless, freaking, I don't know. Things were going on. The Casino Gauntlet happened. Jay White earned #1 entry into that, I suppose, in January 2025. I somewhat remember that. I do remember he was doing well right before he left.
Oh, he was doing great.
Well, I mean, he's a fantastic wrestler, and he was doing great wrestling, but I feel like he was over. Like, people were enjoying him, and then he got injured, and we haven't seen him since, which really sucks. I love Jay White.
My thing is you get a lot of promos from wrestlers who are like doing other things just to kind of keep interest in them, because it's kind of a weird business, the wrestling business. If you're not on the screen, people kind of forget about you.
Yeah.
Not saying anybody could forget about Jay White, and he's a great wrestler and personally one of my favorites in AEW. But I wish he would do something just to kind of let people know, like, hey, I'm here, I will be back. Because they got the Bang Bang Gang doing other things that we'll talk about later on. But for the most part, I miss the leader of it.
Me too. It would be nice to have an update. Just like a hi guys,
But I guess because he was injured, Hobbs did it.
The Casino Gauntlet?
No, the match. He was the one who went on to fight Moxley.
Oh yeah, that's right. See, I don't remember that far back. Like it still wasn't hooking me yet. Early 2025.
It's because there wasn't a whole lot to get hooked by. It was very bland, and I love AEW. I'm an AEW guy, but man, this year was tough.
Yeah. Kenny Omega returned in January. That was cool. Kenny's cool. I've come around to Kenny, because at first I really didn't care, but he is kind of, I don't know, he's one of the heroes. He's one of the big heroes of AEW. But that's basically it for January, which takes us into February, which, I mean, just not a lot happened in these beginning months of the year.
No, there's anything that kind of happened, like it kind of didn't get a whole lot of payoff, or kind of like got forgot about for real. It's like in the build-up just wasn't enough. I don't know. I wish I could be on AEW's creative, because I feel like they need a little help. They do a good enough job, but it's all about the stories. It's all about the stories.
It's all about the stories. Well, I feel like they've done a lot better with the stories this year, and things have just gotten better as the year progressed. So, like, a great example is in February, the MJF and Hangman rivalry kind of kicks off, and I think that was like a cornerstone of a lot of the year, was them going back and forth. I liked seeing those two be mad at each other, and I wanted to see more of that.
Well, it's easy, isn't it? Fucking MJF can fucking hang out and do his dumb little moves and talk his dumb little shit, and then have an actual worker like Hangman Adam Page, fucking carry him to some kind of success, because the only thing Max can do is run his fucking mouth, blah, 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 blah.
He's so good at
it. Fuck him. He is good at it, and I hate him, but fuck him.
He's too good of a character to not, I don't know. I can't not love the guy. Freaking. And I've seen him wrestle well. That's the thing that's killing me about MJF this whole year, and hopefully not during this title reign that he has right now, but freaking, I want to see him wrestle. I want to see him do actual things, because I've seen it before. When we first started watching, he was incredible. He was up there with Ospreay and everything to me. Like, watching him was like, I don't know, I was in awe. And I have not seen that level of skill from him really in the last year and a half. And I'm trying to see it, especially if he's going to hold the belt for a while. But who knows if that'll happen, because I guess Kenny's coming for it. Anyway, that's stuff we just found out like a couple days ago. But I think in February, I think Jet Speed comes into the picture too. So that's Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. I think that's one of the best things of 2025, as far as like people we gained, signings, what have you.
Two just absolutely incredible signings, two incredible athletes. They really understand the idea of wrestling. Speedball with his whole, he's a striker. He's obviously a little high flyer too, little man with no shoes on. Jumping off there, but his kicks and stuff like that. Like, I really enjoy something like that, because you have somebody kind of like Eddie Kingston, the machine gun chops in the corner he likes to do.
Yeah.
And it kills me, because, I guess it looks like he's doing a little something, but I don't know. It's just, it looks lame. and fucking you can like he's slapping his chest at the same time to kind of give it that sound effect, you know, because thigh slaps are huge, you know, nowadays, and
Very much.
I don't know, Mike Bailey, like he doesn't have to do any of that because his moves already like look flashy,
Yeah.
and I don't know, pairing him with Kevin Knight, I think like they themselves are just two really fun people to watch.
They are. And they work really well together, too. Their timing as far as being a tag team and being in sync is impeccable every single time I've seen them, which is crazy. But they're a rare example of a tag team that I love together, but I also love individually.
They're no outrunners.
Well, yeah, no, they're not. I miss those guys. Outrunner Nation. You know how young they are?
Oh, they get younger every day. I swear. I wish they'd answer my tweets so they could give me their secrets. I don't know if it's like a routine or it's like something they drink, but I know I need that formula, and I need the Newport ring gear.
Yeah.
Just for my own personal ring matters.
Shit's too cool.
It's too cool. Very cool people. Can't believe. Oh, I mean, they're on Ring of Honor. They're doing the Ring of Honor thing, and plus that's fine. Ring of Honor needs somebody like them.
Yeah.
But man, I wish they were around more.
Me too. I want to see them on AEW TV so much more because they were so fun. They were just, I don't know, very, very unique gimmick for something that like FTR has always tried to do, the 80s thing. I feel like Outrunners have done it so much better. So it's March 2025. Revolution. It's our first pay-per-view of the year. When I say Revolution, it's the first thing that comes to mind.
Obviously, my favorite women's wrestler of all time, Toni Storm, fighting against Mariah May, and probably one of the greatest women's matches I've ever seen in wrestling.
Yeah, obviously. The Hollywood ending. I mean, that is the first thing. Honestly, Revolution was not that good, all in all, in my opinion. Not my fave. And the very best thing about it, and should have been, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions that I've seen a lot of netizens agree, that should have absolutely been the main event of that pay-per-view. Fucking The Hollywood ending was the absolute best thing about Revolution. And I agree, that was the best women's match I've ever seen. And I mean, I haven't seen that much, you know, as far as the zeitgeist things, but you have, so that's saying a lot from you.
Well, the problem is a lot of people want to undersell AEW and talk about the shit that they're doing. You know, calling it like an indie thing. It's like Mud Show and thing like that. Like, you know, fucking, I personally understand where some people, because I'm kind of, like, I don't like a whole lot of crude stuff in my wrestling. I'm kind of a more wholesome character, if you will. But at the same time, you know, little blood, little violence, that's kind of the whole point of wrestling, especially when you have such heated storylines, you know, that we used to have back in the day. It would make sense that people would, you know, get into it so much that, you know, like, hey, I'm going to have to kill you. I'm going to have to kill you now. For whatever reason. Unfortunately, most of the time it was a belt. But, you know, even still, it happens. And it doesn't happen nowhere near as much as it used to. It's not like people are, actually, people do kind of blade themselves a lot in AEW. It does kind of happen a lot.
It happens a lot.
But it's not like ECW. It's not like an indie show. It's not like they're using fluorescent tubes and barbed wire and jumping off of stupidly high structures onto said barbed wire and stuff. You know, it is a more refined wrestling than you would see just at an indie promotion. But by no means does that diminish the great wrestlers that AEW has. That's the thing I love about AEW, is it's both professional and a little bit dirty as well. You know, they've even given me a couple unprotected chair shots over the years that I never thought I'd ever see an unprotected chair shot again. Boy, howdy! But here we are. I don't know. AEW does a lot, and they really do both sides of it, and to just degrade them and call them a mud show because of things like the Hollywood ending, it's just, I don't know, it's too much. The dark match between Hangman and Swerve people
Yeah.
really dogged that one for the shit that happened, and it's low hanging fruit when you have such cases in the same pay-per-view. Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher,
Yeah.
two really incredible. I'm not going to call them technical wrestlers because I mean they're really more high flyers than anything, but no, I think they are two of. I hate to say this because Kyle annoys the piss out of me, but two of the best wrestlers in AEW.
Absolutely.
They really are. That's one of the only things I kind of hate about this year is haven't seen a whole lot of Will since that match, and we got that really nice shot of him standing over the he climbed up the cage and he's standing on top of it. It was good stuff. It was good stuff, and you get moments like that because AEW has actual stars. And no, there wasn't a whole lot from Revolution to talk about, but damn, the moments that they talked about sure are two of like moments that probably will go down in wrestling. People will talk about them years from now, especially when Will's older. I imagine he's gonna be a legend wherever he decides to say. If there is an AEW Hall of Fame, he will be in it.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I don't know, there's nobody like Ospreay. Like he checks boxes that nobody else does. But I dare say there's nobody quite like Kyle Fletcher either. And there is no denying how good that kid is. Like I don't know, he's incredible. I say it when we watch it sometimes, and I will say it again. Freaking that dude was born for this. He was made to be a wrestler. And as far as my perspective of the Hollywood ending, again, that was like, I agree, that was one of the greatest women's matches I've ever seen, if not the greatest. But it was also setting a precedent for that, like, kind of more hardcore style match with the women in AEW. Willow and Statlander had the Chicago Street Fight at All Out in 2024, and that did have barbed wire, thumbtacks, light tubes. Willow friggin' coming out of nowhere, fucking hitting Stat light tube over the head. Friggin' that shit was fantastic. And for me, like as a woman, it's just seeing that, hey, we can do it too. Like, it's not just the guys. And I love that. And it's happening more and more and more. And again, that match, the Hollywood ending, that set the precedent. I don't care what promotion you're a part of. Like, that is the bar. That's the bar now. Good luck, ladies. But, yeah, I mean, for as lackluster as I think Revolution might have been in some ways, definitely some huge moments there. But that's pretty much it for March, which takes us to April. April 2025. We have a couple of things, a few notable moments, and we do have a pay-per-view. We've got Dynasty that month.
Trash.
Dynasty was not my favorite, and I will say the graphics, absolutely trash. The worst AEW graphics of the year, I think. Every single match, like graphic or card, whatever you want to fucking call it, looked the exact same graphic, copy paste over and over. But anywho, so there was a Dynamite before the pay-per-view with a mixed tornado tag team match. It was Swerve and Willow and Moxley and Marina. And after that, there was this moment at the end where Willow takes a DDT from Mox, and it was one of, I think there were a couple moments like that throughout the year where women were taking moves from men, and it's this, like, we're just seeing more of that intergender wrestling trickled in throughout, which I love. I think it's a great move. I think AEW is making huge fucking strides with that shit. But I thought that was notable. But we've got Dynasty. I'm looking at the card.
It wasn't shit. It was the pay-per-view retaining. Nobody lost anything. Nobody had, like Adam Cole was going to lose to Daniel Garcia. Fucking Tony Storm was going to lose to Megan Bayne. No, definitely not. I don't know. It was a whole lot of shit. Mercedes and Julia Hart wrestled. Fletcher and Briscoe wrestled, which, I mean, anytime Briscoe's in the ring is a treat. I love that man. He's one of my favorite things about AEW.
Yeah.
And again, Kyle Fletcher's just that good, so you put the two together. Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight.
That was a good match.
Like, it had some potential, but it just, I don't know. It was kind of boring.
I mean, there were some good matches, some decent pair-ups, but yeah, nothing in my opinion, plot-wise, shifted or changed that much, other than Bandito versus Jericho. That was kind of a big moment. I think that was the ROH Men's World Championship, so that's a big deal. That's top of an entire promotion. And Bandito, I will say this has been 2025 was 100% Bandito's year. Like,
Very true.
From his standpoint, he has done fantastic, but he is so over right now. He's done so well. Friggin' he's been champion of multiple things. But that was kind of the last moment of Jericho, right? Like, we didn't see him again the rest of the year. He seemingly put Bandito over, and then poof.
We did not see Jericho again.
Saith of the notes. Yeah, and with that, we're into May 2025. We're starting to get into more pay-per-views. It's definitely ramping up there. We got Double or Nothing. I'm pulling up the card. Double or Nothing graphics were really good.
They start to get better as the year goes on. Whoever they hired to do the designs closer towards the end of the year. Or maybe it was just the same person who said, damn, I really need to go ahead and mix things up.
But Double or Nothing, I mean, okay, so Anarchy in the Arena happened. You know, that was the thing.
See, it's all bullshit to me because it's not a stadium stampede. That I have been severely upset at the fact that AEW has been around for as long as it has. That there has been one stadium stampede, maybe two. I'm not entirely sure. All I know is Hangman had a horse named Hunter Horse Helmsley, and I've been dying for this horse to come back, and it's never happened. Need another stadium stampede. Anything less than that is, just that, less than that, and I'm upset. Bring me a stadium stampede, Hangman ride the damn horse.
More horses.
More horses, please. But other than that, I guess I can go ahead and take this as an opportunity to say I hate Mercedes. I hate Mercedes as much as I can get you on Woman of the Year. I don't know who voted for that, but trash pick, trash wrestler. My God, winning that tournament, didn't need to do it. Didn't need to get all those belts. Man.
Yeah, you can't talk about 2025 without talking about Mercedes money.
I've waited.
Yeah, the whole belt collector thing. I mean, it's been the year of. I literally lost count for weeks in a row. I was just like, all right, how many is she up to now? And I expected you to keep me up to date on just how many belts she had. I know we got into the double digits, right? She had 10, maybe 13, up to 13 at one point. I don't even remember. It's just, it was egregious. It did not stop happening. Just more belts on belts on belts.
I'm pretty sure it was 13.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that number. Because it was definitely over the double digit.
It was 13 before she's lost a couple of them now, thank God. But
thank God.
No, she got up to 13, which is just Ashton, no good for anybody. I don't understand why any promotion would be like, yeah, just go ahead and tack my belt onto your list of belts that don't even fucking matter. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before. We've talked about, I understand that there is an argument that some people would make to say that she is bringing notoriety to different promotions by having their belt, but 13, no. Maybe when she had like 5 or 6 or something, but no, I mean, it doubled that and then some, so it just got way out of hand. I don't really understand why that had to happen the way it did, but yeah, her winning the Owen, I mean, that felt like, okay, yeah, another belt, because like you said, yes, at this point, currently in January 2026, she's started to lose some belts. Thank God it is coming to an end, it seems, but no, in fucking May of 2025, it was belt after belt after belt. So once again, just made the Owen feel a little like, what are we even doing here? I don't know. I think it would have been a really, really good opportunity to put a belt on Hayter. I think she earned it. I think Hayter has had a really good 2025. She has been kicking fucking ass.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, couldn't do that. Couldn't swing that way. I do think Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe, that stretcher match, I do remember that one. That was a lot of them, like, near the front of the stage and stuff, like, doing all sorts of crazy little spots here and there. I thought that was fun. I love Ricochet. Love Briscoe.
And Ricochet was one of those signings that AEW really needed. He wasn't... I mean, there's just a lot of them over yonder that don't get the appreciation they deserve. And Ricochet really came over, and I mean, he's grown with AEW. Everybody kind of likes him, or they hate to, or they love to hate him. Whichever.
Yeah, I do love to hate him, but I also think he's a great wrestler. I think he, like I said about Ospreay, like checking boxes that most wrestlers don't. Like he's just so unique. Ricochet's style of wrestling checks boxes I didn't know that I was interested in watching.
Nobody sells like Ricochet does.
That's very true. Nobody oversells quite.
Well, see, I struggle to say. I mean, I don't think he oversells. It's
Sometimes.
not like he. No, I mean,
In my opinion.
no. You're just being ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
Like Ricochet, he's just a ridiculous guy. I don't know. I think the selling is probably one of my favorite things about him. I mean, obviously his commentary, but I don't know. It's the little things. It's the little moments, like when he gets dropped on his head and he just kind of bounces. That's fun. That's good stuff.
The flop and fall. Otherwise, in May, I think the only other thing that I would touch on is that Bryan Danielson was making more and more appearances on commentary, and I think that was a good 2025 move for AEW. Old Bryan Danielson, he's great. I love him.
Them getting Bryan Cranston on commentary really was one of the best things they could have done.
I know, Bryan Cranston's my favorite. No, he really, Cran Danielson, he's great. Freaking, I do appreciate that he's a different type of commentary. Miss Taz.
Miss Taz.
Fucking Miss Taz.
But no, they need somebody who knows the moves, who knows wrestling, and old BC.
Bryan Cranston, he's great.
Yeah, or is it, no, it'd be BD, Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, Bryan Danielson is a refreshing addition to commentary. I think he has a long way to go because I want him to be, for lack of a better term, I want him to be a Michael Cole. I want him to be that technical commentary that AEW is missing because I need somebody, for me, who is less experienced in wrestling and does not know. I know what I'm watching. I can see, that looks cool, but I don't know what I'm watching. Tell me what I'm seeing. Tell me what people are doing. Sometimes we'll be watching, and, I think it'll be the wrestler that I want to win doing a move on the wrestler I don't want to win, and then you'll be like, no, it was that guy that just hurt the other guy or whatever, and it's completely backwards in my mind. So I need people like me who are newer to this. They need somebody to guide them and tell them technically what is happening, and I hope that Bryan Cranston can be that for us.
Somebody's got to break bad on the commentary.
That's right. And that takes us to June 2025. So June 2025, we don't have a pay-per-view, but we do have several more themed weeks and TV specials. Fyter Fest, Summer Blockbuster, and Grand Slam, all in June.
God, just off the notes, I just assumed you were just being all of these themed episodes were, just more of the same. Just so, they're just named, but they don't really seem to have anything actually going for them to make them kind of stand out as other than just a fancy name. Except for Grand Slam. I thought Grand Slam was fun because while I do hate MJF more than just about any wrestler, man, the one thing he could have done to make me be in his corner was to have a super pro-American, American flag over everything kind of gimmick. That I was really here for, and I miss that. I'm going to miss that. I don't think he'll do that anytime remotely soon, but that was my favorite MJF moment from the year, probably.
It was certainly, in my opinion, the best, most unique gear, as far as any long-going gimmick goes. There was probably maybe a better gear for, somebody wore it once for a pay-per-view. But the over-the-top Mr. USA was extreme, and it wasn't something that I was expecting him to do. It felt like something very, very early 2000s, very something like Kurt Angle or something that, people would not do nowadays because of where we are at with our country and everything that happens with that. So it felt, it felt cool to see somebody, do that, even though even though it didn't necessarily, I guess, quote unquote, feel like the right time for it, it was the perfect heel move. It was great, and it looked really good, and it was over the top to be that, like, USA right in Mystico's face, and that whole time he did it. Freaking, that was a cool little feud. I liked MJF and Mystico.
It was good.
Grand Slam was good. I agree with you. Grand Slam Mexico was fun. Again, good graphics. I did like the graphics for that whole thing. Those stood out. They were eye-catching. I think it's around this time. I don't know what week it was. I don't know if it was Dynamite or Collision, but Tekla makes her appearance on the AEW women's roster. And I think Tekla was probably, once again, like jet speed. Freaking, I think Tekla was one of the best signings of the year, hands down.
Really one of the top of the women's division at this current point in time, in my opinion. I just think it sucks she's saddled with this current gimmick of the two children that she needs to maintain. And I mean, they try. I don't know. They oh boy, mess up a lot, and it makes it hard to watch when you're somebody who has more or less been watching wrestling his entire life. It kills me. But Tekla, on the other hand, is great. The best thing about the Triangle Madness, and I can't wait to see what they try and do with her going into the new year.
Me too. No, I'm very excited for Tekla. So my thing with Triangle Madness, because I think it was not very long after Tekla came along that Triangle Madness was formed.
Yeah.
I think it was June, July, something like that. But Triangle Madness, as far as the gimmick goes, as far as the presentation and everything, they're fucking awesome.
It's cool. It's very cool.
Cool as hell. Love those chicks and what they're doing with that. Like, it looks very fun. The entrance, like the video for the entrance is so good, and seeing them live, which we'll get to later in the year, but seeing them in person and seeing that entrance live, the light show that happens on the mat, on the ring, around the audience and everything, it is just so cool. Yes, it's so cool to be a part of. So I love that, but it's like, yeah, I've never, you know me and how I feel about Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I don't know, I haven't been able to get into them. I do not see that skill there with their wrestling that I see with everybody else. And of course, Tekla, I'm assuming she's older in age as far as just has a little bit more experience. And you can tell, like, it shows that she is more experienced. She's just a great wrestler, and she's cool as hell.
Yeah, she's definitely been around longer than both Sky Blue and Julia Hart, I would put money on.
Okay, Summer Blockbuster in June. That's maybe the last thing that I would pick up on there. Fucking, I guess, Swerve and Ospreay happened. And I do feel like I remember that match. I don't remember moments exactly, but it was a great matchup. Like, I had always wanted to see since Ospreay came on, Swerve and Ospreay. So it was cool to see that before Ospreay, had to take time off.
I think I remember seeing something the other day about him doing alright, but I'm kind of hoping he doesn't, he's not shelved for too much of the year, because he really is one of the best wrestlers in AEW, and that match with him and Swerve, which in my opinion, think Swerve is one of the top wrestlers of the time right now, just kind of based on all the things he's been able to do, and that's also because he's been working with my favorite wrestler, like right now, which is the Hangman Adam Page. But all of those people that I just got done saying, like, they're really high caliber people, and it's felt when they're not there.
Yeah.
And him leaving moments like that match and what's coming up, because I think he has a few more matches before he actually takes off. But just Miss Will. I hope he comes back soon.
Me too. I mean, any time that somebody is out for injury and out for seemingly is like they're at the height of whatever and they have to take back seat to heal or whatever they need to do, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. And my sentiment of it is I hope that they take as long as they need to, like, truly get better. Like, please do not rush that shit. Please do not hurt yourself. You know firsthand what it's like to not let an injury heal. So don't do that. But as a selfish fan, yes, I do hope Ospreay is back soon. I hope 2026 has some good Ospreay moments in store for us. But you're right, he is not done yet, because we are in July 2025 now. And you know what July means. All in Texas 2025. I think arguably this is the biggest moment of the year. I mean,
it's AEW's WrestleMania.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, as far as big moments that go, though, this is the big one. This is finally the title is relinquished from its briefcase. Finally, Hangman Adam Page defeats Jon Moxley for the AEW Men's World Championship. Finally!
What an awful time that was.
What a terrible time. But it was such a good pay-per-view for that huge on top moment. It felt like, again, the heroes had won. Like, there were a couple good moments like that throughout this year, where it was like, finally, the good guys. Yes. And this was the biggest one of those good guy moments, in my opinion.
I don't know, given how bad I just wanted the Death Riders thing to end, and I mean, I guess they knew that. That's why they drug it out for an extended period of time, and then, you know, at like the biggest pay-per-view, air quotes, biggest pay-per-view. It's what I think, but I'm sure somebody's going to disagree with me. God, it needed to happen so much sooner than it did. I'm glad it happened. It was very good the way it happened. I'm not complaining. It just, damn, I am impatient, and there was no reason for that to took as long as it did. But one of my favorite moments of the whole year, because anytime Mercedes loses is a treat to behold. Tony beat her for the was it a title match? No. Was it for one of Mercedes's?
Yeah, it was the Women's World Championship.
Okay, so it was before she lost it.
Yeah, 100%.
Then that's it. Yeah, see, that's even better. Tony, I don't think Tony should have ever lost the fucking belt, but you know, here we are. Anywho, Mercedes loses and doesn't get the women's belt. Tony stays women's champion. One of the best moments of the year.
I do agree with that decision. I feel like if Mercedes would have just got that belt, again, we're in July, so Mercedes is still belt collecting. It is still creeping up and crawling up to that 13 level count that we get to at some point. I don't know at what point during the year, but she's still on that ascent right now. So if she would have won the Women's World Championship at that time, to me, it would have cheapened the entire thing. Like, okay, you've got another belt, and it just happens to be our biggest belt. It makes it not count. So I really do feel like that was a good move. Again, felt like my hero had won that match as well. Swerve and Ospreay teaming up, them as somewhat of a makeshift tag team for that moment before Ospreay and Swerve had to both leave. I think this was the highlight of that, was them beating the Young Bucks.
Young Bucks pissed me off.
Why?
Because, I guess now, alright, talking from this point in the year, not knowing anything that happens later on in the year, I want to like them. They're good wrestlers. It's not like I have any issue with them in the ring or their mic skills. It's just, y'all suck. Y'all fucking suck. Get it together. Figure something out. Do something better. Stop being dumb. Get over your gambling issues. You know, fucking be the EVPs. Because I liked to hate it. You know, they were on top. They were running things. That was fun. And I like kind of everything that came after it. But as far as this current point goes, I'm really glad they lost, because I was like, fucking figure it out. Y'all are better than this. Stop being shitty. Do something more fun than this. And they figured it out eventually.
They got there in the end. But in the moment, yes, I know you could not stand to see the Young Bucks on our TV. And I have loved them throughout, because I don't know, they're just so good at playing the part. It's an MJF thing to an extent, but whereas earlier I said that MJF, I haven't seen that caliber of wrestling I know he's capable of in a long time. I see it every fucking week with the Young Bucks. You can't deny how good they are.
They're great wrestlers.
They're fantastic wrestlers. And on top of that, I thought the heel gimmick was hilarious. They played that part really well.
They did it good. I loved to hate them.
Even in the moment, I loved it. But they lost that, so it should have been a good moment for you. Ospreay and Swerve won.
Always a good time.
Always a good time. But we also had the AEW Unified Championship, Okada versus Omega. Okada won.
Okada is one of my favorite wrestlers right now. I refer to him as the Asian Ric Flair. He is so cool, and I'm a man of simple tastes. I like a good clothesline, and granted, it's just a clothesline. It's not all that special. There's an art to it. Now, the JBL has the greatest clothesline of all time. I wish more people would do. Now, granted, I think he tried to kill people sometimes, so maybe not entirely like him. But Okada, his finishing move is one of my favorites in AEW right now. Just going to show, man of simple taste, but no, I love to see Okada win anytime Okada wins. I think he's the best.
I do like Okada. I've come around to him. He's like, I like the bitch thing, but like I wish there was a little more personality there for me to get behind. I've enjoyed his style of wrestling the more I've watched him, because it's a little, I would say, a slow burn, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just like, I don't know. Okada hasn't always been my favorite to watch because it's not as flashy as these other people that we see constantly. But the more I've watched him, the more storytelling I see in his matches, like in his moves and the things he does. It's very fun. It's very entertaining.
He dyed his hair brown?
Yeah, his hair color has fluctuated.
Definitely prefer the blonde. It fits the image better. That was such a weird time, and I think even he decided that. That's why he went back.
Yeah, I think so. Freaking. So yeah, overall, I mean, just really good pay-per-view. There was a lot going on there. Dustin Rhodes wins the TNT Championship, which is cool, and MJF and Athena won the Casino Gauntlet matches for world title shots, which I feel was deserved. Love MJF. Continuing on. So the last thing I guess I'll say about July is the Chicago residency that they had after all in Texas. The venue was like a smaller, more unique, more intimate kind of venue. Definitely less like seat count, but really interesting architecture and things going on as far as like the background. As far as being a TV watcher, we weren't there in person, you know, so as far as like seeing it on TV, it looked really cool to see. However, I think we both kind of agree it went on too long. Like it felt like the residency, like it just felt like, especially with watching Dynamite and Collision, if you're like a twice weekly watcher, just felt like they were never leaving the same place. Felt like, you know how cartoons, they never changed their clothes. We were never changing clothes. Like cartoons. They have the same outfits no matter what day it is and stuff.
Well, I had no way of figuring it out. I could have looked it up, but I just didn't. What I liked to assume was that if you bought a ticket to the little residency there, like one day, or maybe even 2 days, because I think they were there like 2 weeks, so that would have been like 4 shows.
It was like 3 weeks. I mean, I guess it wasn't that long, but it felt like...
I'm pretty sure it was only 2 weeks, and it was only 4 shows, Dynamite and Collision each. But, you know, it's like you went 1 week. You can't buy up tickets to go to next week, because I'm sure there were a mess of people. I'm overthinking this because no corporation is going to be, even AEW, they're pretty fan conscious. Their ticket prices aren't egregious or anything like that. But at the same time, it's not like they're like, if you buy tickets for X date, next date, you are automatically ineligible to buy tickets for X date and X date. They just let people buy up all the tickets, and that kind of sucks because I'm sure there were a lot of people who were like, man, I remember being a kid, blah blah blah, grew up in the area, I watched ECW there, blah 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 blah, and they couldn't get in because, you know, whatever reason. That kind of sucks.
That seems unfair. I don't know how that works. I don't know how, again, we weren't there. I don't know how it all works and shakes out, but it does seem like I said, just a little unfair feeling. But anywho, that's pretty much it for July. So we're into August 2025. We're cresting the end of the year here. Alright, so that takes us to August 2025. AEW and New Japan Wrestling, Forbidden Door. I liked Forbidden Door. I was a big fan. I was actually, like Grand Slam Mexico, I don't know, I was very excited for a lot of the international collaborations.
I like the crossover. It's good. It's something that, you know, in my youth, I obviously assumed. I remember asking my dad if, like, other countries had wrestling like we had wrestling. And he would laugh because, no, they didn't really have wrestling like we had wrestling when I was growing up, because I grew up during the Attitude Era, which was its own beast. But, no, I never got to experience other wrestling promotions in different countries until obviously I got older and got the internet and people posting stuff on YouTube and stuff, and then I got to experience other things. But it's not like I ever sought it out. I knew of New Japan Wrestling, I knew of CMLL, but it's not like I, was like, oh man, I'm dying to watch those promotions. AEW has really shown me that was stupid.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good wrestlers from both of those promotions that I could have been seeing years ago. But in all fairness, because I was so stuck in the mindset of, if it's not WWE, it's not like real like wrestling here in America.
Right.
I was one of those people just because of how much WWE, and in all fairness, I was a WCW guy. Me and my dad and my older brother watched a whole lot of WCW because my dad preferred WCW over WWE, so we were a WCW household. And we were devastated when that went away. When WWE got up the deal with WCW and shut it down, it really sucked. But eventually, it's not like I had a choice. It's like, well, we're going to watch WWE now because we watch wrestling.
Yeah.
And I got stuck into that mindset, and it wasn't until much later in my life when, oh boy, WWE was hot garbage. Still is, but it started then. I stopped watching wrestling, and I said I was done with wrestling because I couldn't watch WWE anymore. And AEW came around, and I didn't even get into that until like 4 or 5 years into it being around. And I'm mad at myself because I could have been watching real wrestling years ago. Back in 2020, I could have been watching real wrestling.
Yeah. Just because you wouldn't give it a chance. It's brainwashing. It's WWE brainwashing. And yeah, they were really good at that. Freaking had a whole generation, if not multiple generations of people hooked on that. Like, that same exact mindset. Like, if it's not WWE, why even give it a chance?
Right.
But... So we've got Forbidden Door, got a lot going on with that. Hangman retains against MJF for the World Championship. That match sucked.
That sucked.
I'm just going to say it. As both a very, very big Hangman Adam Page fan and MJF fan, that match let me down. It was gimmicky, it was hokey, it was strange. There was too much humping. Like, what was happening? Like, it almost felt silly and not serious. And I felt like that rivalry, the build up to it, felt serious to me. It felt like I've got, Hangman, who's this loose cannon, this crazy guy who could set your house on fire if he hates you enough, and you've got MJF who hates people and is supposed to be super angry and mean in his own right and arrogant and I'm better than you, blah, blah, blah. And, oh my god, it should have been an explosion. It should have been explosives between those two men. It should have been such this, powerful battle between the two. And it was like, I don't know, it's like I'm watching like it makes me feel like I'm watching like a Jeff Jarrett match without props. Like, a little bit, like to a much lesser degree, but it just was not fun for me. So that really let me down. I've said I liked Forbidden Door, but that let me down there. I will say the pickup was probably Brodito winning the tag team championships. I think that was awesome. I think they were the right people to take the belts away from Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. That was who they took them away from.
Yeah, the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, it was a three-way thing because it was Brodito, FTR, and the Hurt Syndicate.
That's right. See, man, that's a complaint I have about AEW. I'm over all of the multi people title matches. There doesn't need to be 3-4 people for a title match. Almost every title match. I would have much preferred Brodito to just go in, beat the Hurt Syndicate. Make it look like the battle that it should have been, because in all fairness, I don't actually think the Hurt Syndicate should have lost their titles, but again, here we are. I think it would have been much better storytelling. But you had to shoehorn in fucking FTR. And I know I talk a lot about people I hate, but FTR, they piss me off. They piss me off so bad. I can't fucking get behind it. I wanted to because of the whole 80s thing. But then the Outrunners came and showed me that, like, you have FTR who, act like, they think wrestlers in the 80s acted. And then you have Outrunners who act like wrestlers in the 80s acted. It's a big distinction, and FTR is boring and lame, and they should lose all the matches, and, but anywho, I would have been even more upset if they would have won. If they would have somehow fucking got into that title match and then they would have won.
I agree with you on some things. Like, I really do not think FTR would have been the right win for that. Like, if they would have taken the belts off the Hurt Syndicate, I think that would have been a bad move. Like, Hurt Syndicate is just, they I don't know, they were so powerful and so much stronger seeming, and I don't even mean necessarily just physically. Like, they just seemed like a stronger tag team than FTR did, especially at that point in the year. But all of that to say, I think Brodino was the perfect choice to do that. They were like this underdog team that seemed, at first, the first time we saw them together, in my opinion, I was thinking, like, why the fuck are we flinging these two guys together? They have nothing to do with each other. And they're vastly different sizes and just different styles of wrestling. And then they became a tag team, and they meshed perfectly. Not only their personalities, like, they're hilarious together, they really do seem like bros, pardon the pun, and then also they're fantastic at wrestling together. They complement each other well, where you have, I don't know, one of them will help each other with, or one of them will help the other with a move, and I think they complement each other well, even being so vastly different. So anyway, I don't know, I think Brodino was like a standout tag team of the entire year, and it was really cool to see them win. I thought that was exciting. That was a highlight of Forbidden Door for me. But other than that, it was really a lot of retaining. So you've got like Tony retains, good move there. Fletcher retains, Okada retains. Then you have this the lights out steel cage match. That was pretty fun. I think that had some good moments. And then that ended with Ospreay being attacked, and then that was Ospreay's out. We didn't see him again after. But anyway, that was like his last in-ring moment. So that was Forbidden Door, at least, you know, from my perspective. But other than that, the only other thing I would say for August is that we actually went to Collision. Beppo meets the Hangman.
It was fun. So far we've gone to a AEW show for the past 2 years.
Yep.
So it's looking like at some point at this year we're gonna have to go to another AEW live show.
We have to.
And that'll be fun because, you know, maybe we could like live stream from there or something.
Oh gosh.
You know, show off the deal. But
Yeah.
yes, it's always a pleasure when a fan, it doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you can really just, I think the thing that makes wrestling fun is being able to suspend belief for just those couple of hours. And the older you get, the harder you find, and the more you're in touch with the internet and see all the inner workings and the background stuff and the kayfabe shattering responses from people on, you know, social media. It's hard, but if you can just keep that belief for just those couple of hours that these men and women are, you know, basically superhuman.
Yeah.
They do things that normal people would never even dream of. Dangerous things, death-defying things, the leaps and bounds, the weapons, the blood. It's all something that, if you can just believe for just a couple hours that it's real, is insane. It's insane that these people do this every week, you know, 2 times a week, every week, and sometimes more, because we don't even get to see all of the shows and all of the wrestling that these wrestlers participate in. But Hangman is a great hero who has his own traits and has problems with anger, I would say, and it's very human, and it was a great pleasure to meet him because he came down. He's from the area.
Yeah.
And he came down after the show and met with fans, and I got him to sign my Hangman Adam Page sign, and it's fun. It's moments like that as to why I am 31 years old and I will never stop loving wrestling. It's those little moments of magic, maybe.
It is.
You know, childhood whimsy, whatever you want to call it, but I hope if anybody listens to this podcast, if you don't take anything away from the time we've spent talking here, just love wrestling. Just go ahead and stop imagining, you know, what these people are like in real life. Stop imagining all the things that, you know, are going on behind the scenes. And just take it for face value, and I promise you will have so much more fun with it.
Let your imagination imagine. Let your imagination run wild with it. Like, let your inner kid have fun again for a moment. You asked me, actually sometimes, you've asked me a lot over the last couple of years, because I've only been watching wrestling myself for almost 4 years now. It's like 3 at this point, 3.5, almost 4. And so for me as a new wrestling fan, I don't know, you've asked me a lot, like, what is it about wrestling that got you into it? And I mean, of course, I've got like the matches and the moments, the first things I saw that like really drew me to it. But more than anything, and I've answered this way multiple times, is it's fun. It's fun. You actually can have fun with something. A TV show that's regular with your cast of characters, your goofballs, your angry men, your cults, your spooky shit, your triangles of madness, whatever. Just it's the point of wrestling is fun and is whimsy and is taking yourself out of this world. It's very much a good escape if you let it. Like, don't stop trying to make it reality. You know, it's real. Just stop trying to make it reality. No, the collision we went to was awesome. It was very fun. I had a great time. We got to see Willow in person, and I will say my sign said Willow is our champion, and guess what? As of literally just the other day, or just the other night, freaking, she is our TBS champion, and one of our women's tag team champion. 2 belts, Willow. Anyway, very excited. But that's pretty much all I've got for August, and that takes us to September 2025. Only got a couple more months to go here. September, a lot happened. I got a lot here in the notes, but I'll kick it off with the fact that the Young Bucks are finally on their downfall. Obviously, they just lost at the last pay-per-view, and so now they're having to assist Don Callis and his crazy-ass family for cash and favors, just to have an intro, just to have a little pyro, you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'd have taken coming out to Hanson before I would have worked with Don Callis.
Yes, 1,000%. They should have never given that hot dog man a moment of their time, but it was a fun little arc there, and I think we both noted on it, like, for some reason during that time we saw a lot more of the cult-like side of the Callis family and how Don Callis controls them and that kind of thing, and unfortunately I hate Don Callis more than anything in this earth, but it made that whole plot a little more interesting. Like, the whole Callis family as a whole kind of got me, like, piquing my interest during those segments more. Because you see, I mean, I've mentioned it multiple times, you see so much of fucking Don Callis on, it doesn't matter, Dynamite Collision, you see so much of him on AEW TV.
Well, it helps when you have 50,000 people in your stable. But
yeah, I'm sure.
I just want to make 2 points noted. The first point is something you pointed out to me a handful of shows ago, and I'm going to break the glass for anybody else, or break the mirror for anybody else who may be listening to this and hasn't noted this little fact. Next time Don Callis has the mic, look at his hands and notice that his hands are very pale white, and the rest of his skin is cooked hot dog brown.
Very true.
Awful. And secondly,
tan them hands.
I was kind of glad to see that little bit into the Don Callis family and kind of see him fall back on his little cult leader kind of ways, because I remember when he was the Jekyll, and I will never let anybody forget ever that he is the man who lost his job to the Insane Clown Posse because he could not manage the oddities properly.
Whoop, whoop.
Anywho, we can move on. Whoop whoop.
Oh, fuck Don Callis and his hot dog having ass. So that happened. Daniel Garcia, who I am not I'm not super interested in him, and I will say I feel like this makes it worse, but he quote unquote breaks bad to join the Death Riders by attacking Darby. I feel like they just like wanted to give Daniel Garcia a plot or something.
He needed something.
Yeah, like they were like, okay, we need to do something with you. Let's just, here you go. Here, have a heel arc. And I need to see more wrestling and personality-wise from him. Because he kind of blends in with the Death Riders now. He doesn't have a unique voice amongst them. Marina has the most unique voice amongst all of them as far as just like standouts in the DR.
Yeah.
But anyhow, one notable moment that I will not share is fucking Christian Cage breaking the fuck out of Dax Harwood's nose on live TV. That was fun.
It's like this pay-per-view had a lot of moments of couldn't have happened to some better guys. With the Young Bucks, losing, couldn't have happened to some better guys.
Oh.
Dax getting his nose fucked up because he's a tool, couldn't happen to a better guy.
I just appreciate the live action of it. Like, you do see people get hurt all the time in real time on any sort of live wrestling show. But it's interesting to see broken bones. Unfortunately, it is very, very interesting to watch. And for Christian Cage to do it, I was pleased to see the ramp up between Cage and Cope, and in that moment, and I miss them, and I can't wait for them to come back.
Yeah, they gotta be coming back soon because we're dying for it. Like, I think
Yeah.
everybody is. We know they're not gonna be around for too much longer.
Right.
They both respectively have been pretty hard on their bodies, and the fact that they're still doing what they're doing now is amazing.
Yeah.
So I imagine we're gonna get that final run, sooner rather than later, and then we're gonna have yet another amazing fucking retirement run that we're gonna be able to look at and be like, this isn't where wrestlers work. This is where wrestlers retire. And imagine how powerful of a statement that is in the wrestling world, where people just kind of switch. This can be a place where you can retire.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love AEW.
And you can retire before, like, you kill yourself doing the thing you love, hopefully. I hope it's a new era for that as well. Speaking of pay-per-views, so that takes us to All Out Toronto 2025. Great graphics, good graphics this time around.
Favorite graphics.
Super cool card. There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening here. So I think one thing you're gonna want to mention is Toni Storm's reign comes to an end at the hands of Chris Statlander.
Not a Chris Statlander fan. Not good on the mic. Very stiff in the ring. I don't know. Coolest thing she did was that one entrance where it looked like she jumped out of a fucking space pod that fell from the sky. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Other than that, hate the decision. Stupid decision. If Toni was going to lose the belt at all, which, I mean, come on. To Chris, of all people, there were so many better choices. I have my favorites. I personally, if they were going to give it to anybody, should have been Willow. They ended up doing something about that anyways. Willow 2 belts over here. But, man, I had such a bad decision because it has yielded 0 results. Yes, she's done some matches to defend it, and she even beat Mercedes, which, as I've talked about before, always a celebration. But it's like a bittersweet celebration because it's like neither one of you are that good, in my opinion.
I like Statlander. I've always liked Statlander since we've started watching. I think I've been impressed with her in the ring personally. Maybe not since she won this title shot or title reign, but I've been impressed with her over the years. I think there is something happening right now where she's trying to, now that she is the AEW Women's World Champion, I think she's trying to come into her own and really own that gimmick and do her own thing there. And the problem is it's just, for me, it's just not working. But that's not where we're at in September. In September, when this moment happened, when she won over Toni, I was jazzed. I thought it was a really, really good choice because it was an underdog women choice. An underdog.
Yeah.
It was. It was an underdog on the women's roster compared to a Mercedes. Like I just said, if Mercedes had won at the last pay-per-view, that would have cheapened the entire women's championship belt to me. Just because, okay, yes, she's quote-unquote that good, Mercedes is. Good for her. Freaking, let's see somebody who we know is good, who's like a solid backbone of the company, really get over right now. And that's what I felt like I saw with Stat in that moment. I was, like I said, I was jazzed for it. I thought it was going to be a good thing. Have I been super excited about it since? We'll talk about that when we get there. But I did feel like it was a good moment in the time that it happened. I wanted to see, I think Toni, the problem with that is nobody on the entire AEW women's roster is better than Toni Storm. She is the best women's wrestler that we have. So it is very hard to see her come off of that pedestal in any way, shape, or form. It was going to suck no matter who it was. So like I said, I was pleased with it being an underdog. We've also got Jon Moxley defeating Darby. Just why? It just felt like as a fan, it's like Darby just keeps getting his ass kicked at this point in the year. And I mean, that's kind of a theme with him anyway, but it just felt like Mox had, all year, it felt like Mox had to win at least, 2 out of 3 matches he had, or the world would explode. It felt like he had to win most of whatever he was in, and that was getting annoying. Other than that, Brodito retains, which I thought was a good call. Mercedes obviously retains, however we feel about that. And then Eddie Kingston returns during this pay-per-view, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Maybe I just typecast. If you're from Brooklyn or some area of New York, because I don't think he's from Brooklyn. He said it before. But anywho, if you're from some area in New York, I think Eddie Kingston would be a great like to follow in the footsteps of Taz would be a great commentator. I think he would be fun to listen to. He would definitely bring a flavor of personality that none of the other commentators have.
Yeah.
You know, and I personally think if he ever decided to maybe step back from actual wrestling and like do the commentary thing, he would find great success.
I guess I can see that. I think he's so fun on the mic. He's so fun in promos. Like, even when he's being serious and like he's like a little scary when he's super serious, it's still fun because it's believable because it's him. He's just, I love the fact that Eddie Kingston is your average everyday dude. That makes him so unique in a world of superstars, truly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I could see him doing well with commentary. I think that'd be cool. Like I said earlier, like, commentary needs something. They need to switch it up somehow. October 2025. So, Dynamite's 6-year anniversary is how we're kicking off October, which is really cool. 6 years of AEW, so that's exciting. We've been around for 3 anniversaries of Dynamite now, so we've been watching for almost half of AEW.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Like you mentioned earlier, like I wish we could have been watching the whole time. Like I wish we had taken the chance on AEW earlier because it is that great. But no, we've been here for at least half of its run and can't wait to see what more is coming. October also saw the return of Andrade for 5 seconds. What happened with that?
He poked his head in the door, said, "Hey guys," WWE went. He said, "All right guys, this has been real."
Literally, he just opened the door and closed it. I don't know anything. I'm not well versed in the contract nonsense
Me
and
either.
everything. I don't know, but I've heard that he had some sort of no compete, and that's why like he showed up, and then like I guess like you said, WWE's lawyers like waggled a finger or something, and we haven't seen him return since. I've heard he's popped up in a couple other promotions. He's still doing stuff, and apparently I guess Roosh had like a lawyer or something on standby that helped him get out of the contract, I heard. Again, I don't know, this is all just Twitter hearsay, but I think that's very fun.
I'm glad Mortos is getting work in and out of the ring.
Me too. Oh my god, the lawyer beast Mortos. I hope he's the lawyer on standby. But we also see in October Jurassic Express. Speaking of beastly creatures we love to see in the ring.
Well, you were talking about size differences, and it's something that can work. I mean,
yeah.
I know for a fact, like Jurassic Express, they are really good. Like I love watching them, and it's kind of dope because I wanted to like Jack Perry, a long time ago when he was doing the scapegoat shit.
Yeah.
But I just didn't see enough of him. It didn't really do a whole lot. I don't know. It didn't really work for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. I wanted to like Perry then. At least a little bit, because everybody did. Like, everybody was obsessed with Jack Perry, talking about everything about him and everything that had happened in that moment. But when he was with the Young Bucks, I don't know. I didn't see enough of him in the ring, and I certainly did not see any personality behind what he was doing there. And now, like, I haven't heard him talk a whole lot since he's been back with Jurassic Express. Not a ton, but it's like there's so much personality in what they're doing together, and like the little moments, just even unspoken between him and Luchasaurus being back and being in good health.
I love that guy.
It's fucking amazing. He's awesome.
I still like to think he took his cut of the money from those matches where they won like millions of dollars, and he just got him a stupid big rock and a stupid big sun lamp. But no, it's a good thing. It's something that AEW has done pretty well, and it's reminiscent of things like Rey Mysterio and the Big Show. They teamed up for a while, and the size difference, they worked well off of each other.
Yeah.
Team Hell No, Dana Bryanson and Kane.
Oh.
That was a fun pairing because it was Dana Bryanson as a heel, and kind of different for him, because instead of going yes, and anybody who hears me can see what I'm doing. Yes, it was no, and it was fun.
Awesome.
And I think that's the thing I appreciate most about like Jurassic Express and Brodito.
Yeah.
Is if you are going to have such a like big size difference, there has to be an understanding of like the dynamic of the tag team.
Yeah.
And I think both of those two tag teams that I just mentioned have done a great job of figuring that out, and I like watching both of them. wrestle in tag team matches.
Yeah, no, they're very fun to watch. I think that almost sometimes the opposite sizes actually works even better because you expect it to not work, and then if they can make it work, it's even that much more impressive. But we also have Wrestle Dream 2025 in October. Wrestle Dream was kind of crazy because it was very much an and still pay-per-view. We just saw everybody pretty much retain. Hangman retained, Statlander retained over Tony, further solidifying, Statlander really was women's champion. She really was. Mercedes, Fletcher, and Brodito also retain. But I think one moment that we have to talk about is the I Quit match with Darby and Moxley. First of all, love to see an I Quit match in 2025. That was awesome. Just felt like an old school kind of thing that I love to see. But also, Sting came back to help Darby defeat Mox. It was so good to see Moxley lose that moment.
Always a good time to see Sting. Always a good time to see Sting. I love Sting. I've been watching Sting since I was a literal child, so I mean, it's always nice, because no wrestler ever really retires. Yeah. There's always one more match, one more storyline, one more storyline, one more title shot.
It's very much the same in the world of rock and roll. Nobody wants to give it up. How many times have the Eagles done a farewell tour? How many times has Genesis done a farewell tour?
Oh my gosh!
Riddle me that. But yeah, you're very right. Like nobody really retires. But once again going back to what we said way in the beginning of all of this, I really truly feel like AEW knows and is going to even continue to learn how to treat legends, because he can come back for a moment. He doesn't have to. He's not obligated like some people on legends contracts to sell their soul and be there for every fucking event and continue to put their 80-year-old bodies at risk because they've signed this sheet of paper. No, Sting very much, you could tell he wanted to come back for that moment, and that's the only moment he's come back for since his retirement. There's no pressure to fucking keep up, doing something your body can't do. So again, just good stuff there. The only other thing, because we're in October, it's spooky season, it's spooky month, we've got Fright Night Dynamite, and let me tell you how much of a freaking letdown that was. Not for any other reason other than, why don't wrestlers who get to dress up and play pretend twice a week, every week, why the hell did we not see more fun costumes? Super sad. I will say shout out to Megan Bain and Penelope Ford for at least trying. Like they at least did some costume.
They did the DC thing, the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, but I just can't imagine it because, I have so many maybe outlandish dreams for my intros, I get some delusions of grandeur every once in a while, but y'all have the money to do it.
You can actually do it.
Like if I could just go out and buy some new gear for like $300, if I gotta pay for the pyrotechnics, that's fine. I'll mix it up, or maybe I'll need to I need to personally secure the rights for a song for a one-time intro. Fine. Y'all don't got anything better to do? Y'all can't do some shit? Fucking, I remember Abaddon. A lot of people were like, oh man, blah blah blah, like it'd be so cool if she came out to Living Dead Girl because that was her gimmick, Rob Zombie's Living Dead Girl. And something about didn't want to pay for the fucking... If Dickhead Punk can run around with Cult of Personality for 70 years... There's no reason, she couldn't have got that Rob Zombie song. Would it have costed a little money? Sure. Would you have wrestled a little bit more to, kind of offset that money?
Yeah.
Who's complaining? I don't know.
Tony Khan, who's the one spending the money, probably.
I'd do it myself. That's what I'm saying. If it was me.
If you had...
I would own the rights to my song. I would own them, even if it was like a day pass. I just rented the rights for a one-time, all in, right? It's an all in. Yeah. Or Fright Night,
Yeah.
In Fright Night in particular, I am paying for Demonoid Phenomena by Rob Zombie.
Right.
And I am dressing up like the protagonist from Nightmare Creatures 2 from the N64. And nobody's going to know what the fuck. Exactly. That face you just made to me is what everybody else in the audience would be like, what the fuck? But Demonoid Phenomena was the intro song to that game.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And the character, it's a super spooky kind of gothic horror kind of deal. The dude comes out, he's got bandages all over his face. He walks around with a fuck you axe. It's just a wood cutting axe. But he's got this dark trench coat. It's all fucked up up at the bottom. And it's just something I've always wanted to do for Halloween.
Right.
But if I'm a wrestler and it's Halloween night,
you're already in a costume. You might
that's
as
it.
well.
I might as well go ahead and do the shit and make that happen.
See, that's how I wish every single wrestler on the AEW roster felt when it comes to those like special occasions and even pay-per-views. I think the Young Bucks are probably my favorite example of it.
They do a lot.
They do so good. And especially, like, when they were in the height of their fucking, I don't know, just shit tour because they were the EVPs.
Yeah.
Freaking every single pay-per-view we had, I was on the edge of my seat for the Young Bucks entrance because you knew they were going to have brand new, fresh gear that looked incredible, that had a theme, that was, you know, with whatever entrance, like, sometimes they do a different song or a different video, or the time they came out on the ship because they're the founding fathers and they're, like, dressed as Washington and shit. Like, just extremely creative, extremely fun. And maybe it does just boil down to like money, and maybe I shouldn't feel that way because like not everybody has like Young Bucks money probably on the roster, you know. Like I'm sure Abaddon maybe did not have license money, you know. But at the same time I do like I just more specialty like outfits and stuff for events I think would be super fun. Alright, so last 2 months of the year, November 2025. I think obviously the big standout of November is AEW Blood and Guts Dynamite Special. Blood and Guts, they do it every year. I do not remember Blood and Guts 2024. I feel like it was kind of like just not memorable in my opinion. But this Blood and Guts, complete opposite. I will remember
this one was insane.
It was insane. I remember, and you mentioned it multiple times watching it in real time. Like, how is some of this shit allowed on live TV? You know, like it felt like pay-per-view level, not only wrestling and like just excitement, but also
The spectacle.
Is
what I'll call it.
The violence, I would say as well. Like, just it was over the top in a very good way, in my opinion. But that was our first like special Dynamite like named event of the year that in my opinion held up to its name. Like we keep mentioning throughout the year, there were so many themed Dynamites and themed weeks, and it's just like nothing was that special or that unique about it other than its name. Blood and Guts it held up to its name. For sure the standout star of Blood and Guts for the men's match, 1,000% Kyle O'Reilly. Obviously he's the one that got Moxley to tap, but he did so well. Like, you see, I don't know, he's kind of like a sweet, innocent little Kyle O'Reilly, little technical Kyle O'Reilly. Like, he kicks ass. I love his wrestling, but he's such a kind, nice, like, funny guy. You don't expect him to be brutal, and he was brutal that match. He did not hold back.
Well, interesting fact is our first AEW show we went to, and I took a Kyle O'Reilly sign because I have liked Kyle O'Reilly since I have seen Kyle O'Reilly. But it just always looked like the man was just crying. Like, he just looked perpetually sad all the time. So I made a sign that said, "Kyle, stop crying." And he just happened to walk by at just the right time and look up at our seats. And I held up my sign, and he did like a crying motion, and then he walked away. And I thought, man, that was a fun little interaction. And then everything after that has been fun, smiling, happy Kyle O'Reilly, and it's been great.
He really has.
But the women's Blood and Guts, though, was insane all in its own right.
It really was. Women's Blood and Guts was awesome. Just another moment, like many moments throughout the AEW 2025 year, where as a woman and watching women's wrestling, you felt like it was serious. It was being taken very seriously to the point of actual blood and violence. I will mention Sky Blue here. We were talking about Triangle Madness earlier, and I mentioned she's not necessarily my favorite wrestler, but she definitely gets honorable mention for the most bloodshed in that match. That was a little insane. She went all in there. But I feel like it was really cool to see a lot of ladies that we don't often see get hardcore like we did in Blood and Guts. So like Mina, for example, and Jamie Hayter.
Oh,
even
you mean like Mercedes?
Just okay. I try to be very kind when it comes to Mercedes because I wanted to like her. We were just talking about flashy gimmicks and flashy gear and going all out when it comes to your look, and nobody in my opinion nobody in wrestling does better with their gear, their appearance, their aura, as the kids say, I suppose, than Mercedes Money. She kills it every single time. She looks incredible. That being said, because of all of her flashiness and all of her grandeur, I want to like her. I really do. I've seen wrestling from her that I enjoy.
Lucky you.
a lot of times I do not enjoy her wrestling that much. I just don't see what everybody else sees. And I will say a lot of people, in light of what has just happened, which is in December, not in November, but in light of what has just happened with Mercedes, a lot of people are saying, like, basically making fun of the whole Mercedes Hogan claims. She's putting people over at the end of the year, as we will see and as we will talk about, in a way that suggests she does not use her creative control as people have speculated she does. However, women's blood and guts. I hated her entry into that entire match. They took such a long moment to give her whole full entrance, her whole full intro with all of the belts, everything that was happening there. On top of, once she finally got into the cage, there was a little action back and forth, a little razzle-dazzle for 5 seconds, but then simultaneously all of the other women who we were supposed to suspend belief and believe were actually fighting each other and doing different things in that moment, somehow simultaneously all just like sit down for a second, just so Mercedes can have her grandiose moment of being the only one standing and have her moment of standing out. And I don't know, maybe she didn't write that, I don't know who wrote that, but as a fan watching, it just took me so much out of the match. There was no moment in the men's match where one dude just got to parade around for the sake of, oh, he's the top dude.
Look at
in
me.
The company. Yeah, nobody got to peacock like that in the men's match. But for some reason, Mercedes got that moment during women's blood and guts, and that did irk me for as much like leeway as I tried to give a wrestler that I really want to like but can't seem to quite see enough of, which is unfortunate. We also have Hangman versus Hobbs, and that was fucking phenomenal. That was awesome. Them just getting into the crowd, getting into the scaffolding of the arena was amazing. I said it then, I said it in the moment, and I'll say it now. I don't know why, but that did remind me of the Rock Foley I Quit match, just very lightly, not in the same way. It wasn't even half as like athletic or insane body-wise as far as heights and falling and real crazy bumps. But there were some crazy bumps, you know, and there were things. I mean, Hobbs being thrown off that shit at the end was was huge. Yes, he had tables break his fall, but it's a huge man to go from that far. So November, we also have AEW Full Gear 2025. I think biggest thing probably to come out of that was Samoa Joe and Hangman Page's steel cage match. That was a huge moment. It was a great match. I don't agree with the outcome, but it was a great match, and I think the biggest thing about it, in my opinion, was just how much Joe bled. November was fucking bloody. I mean, blood and guts, and then also that particular steel cage match. I mean, oh god, Joe was hard to look at, and I'm not squeamish. It was a lot, but like I said, don't feel like I agree with the outcome of that. I mean, I do feel like Joe is a great wrestler. I like watching Joe. I really like Samoa Joe. I didn't want him to be my champion in that moment. I still wanted Hangman.
It's one of those things. It's like Tony. It's just like, they're the best. They might as well just have the title. But, I mean, trying to just point out some things that, I thought were fun over the pay-per-view. Mercedes lost. It's always a good time. Love to see it. It's great. Party time anytime Mercedes loses a match.
Well, like I was mentioning just a few minutes ago, she starts to put people over, I would say, I guess people are saying, at the end of the year here. And I think that Statlander wins the world title. She retains against Tony again, further solidifying, hey, I beat this bitch twice. I am the champion. Now she's like, I'm beating, kind of supposed to be the top dog.
I mean, I guess she is top form Mercedes at this point.
Yeah.
She hasn't lost any of her belts, so she's rocking 13.
Yeah, she's 13 belts. She's Ultimo Monet. If you can take her down, you might as well be God. So yeah, Statlander wins. It's a very, very hard push for Stat right now, and I don't know. In this moment in November, I'm still kind of here for it. I'm not quite as jazzed as I was when she first won it, but I'm like, okay, they're really making her look strong, and she's looking strong. She is. I get the alien thing, kinda. I just want to see more personality. Like, I want to know more, like, who are you? And I just want to see more there. But, anywho, we've also got Ricochet becoming the first inaugural national champion. So there's that. We got a new belt.
I think that is the ugliest fucking belt I have ever fucking seen. I've been watching wrestling a long fucking time, and boy howdy, let me tell you, I think that is just one of the most ugliest looking fucking belts ever.
I love Ricochet, but yeah, it's a silly looking belt in my opinion. I think it looks a little cheesy. I feel like maybe they're going for that like smaller, like traditional, more old school style.
It is a more old school belt. Before they were so grandiose, yes, yeah, but man, lame. I mean, I don't even need a fancy big belt, just a big gold belt like WCW's belt. Big Goldie was the pinnacle of fucking world heavyweight title belts in my opinion. But I do like Ricochet, like I said before. He's a fucking goofball, and I like to watch him get flopped around.
Not a great belt, the national championship, but a good belt, and a belt that I think is probably the coolest one we have in AEW right now is Mark Briscoe's TNT championship, because he did win that at this pay-per-view, rightfully so. That just felt like completely right in the moment. Nobody, in my opinion, deserved that win more than Briscoe.
Yeah, Mark really came out on top. I think he's one of the biggest winners of the pay-per-view. I'm really glad to see it. I think everything he did with MJF was pretty cool. Gave him a chance to really kind of cut loose, even though MJF kind of sucks. But I'm here for it, and I like the camo TNT title belt. I think it's the coolest title belt, past or just behind Jack Perry's. I forged it myself, fucking TNT title belt.
Yeah, that one was sick. That is absolutely cool as hell. But I do really like the camo. Other notable moments: FTR wins the tag team titles from Brodito. I just felt like it was over too soon for Brodito. I mean, they
deserve better.
They deserve so much better, and they're still like doing promos and they're still working together. Like, it's not like we're done with that tag team yet. It's not like we're done with those two guys as a unit. So like, why did it have to be FTR? I don't know. FTR has done nothing but fail to impress me this year, unfortunately.
Because they're trash.
I have a hard time just...
They're old and they're trash. Like other old wrestlers, they can't keep up. They're fucking boring and they suck on the mic, and now their gimmick is we beat up wrestlers older than us.
Yeah, it's a shitty gimmick. And
Oh, God, I have so much beef with FTR.
Like, I get you're supposed to be heels, but that's like a heel thing to do even for a heel. Like, fuck you. Like, nobody looks stronger beating up Ricky the Steamboat. Like,
or fucking Ricky Morton.
Yeah, fuck FTR this year. I would have to agree there. Fucking the Young Bucks win their million in their match during this pay-per-view. And, of course, they decide to do the right thing.
You love to see it.
We get a little face turn for the Young Bucks.
Couldn't happen to a better group of guys. I'm glad they came around.
Me too. I completely agree. I love them. Oh, and I will say, I don't think it was during Full Gear, but just at some point throughout November, Kevin Knight and Darby Allin fight, and that was pretty crazy. And Darby was actually hurt after that, I think. So
because Darby lives in a perpetual state of I'm hurt, but I'm gonna keep going.
I think he has to at this point. Like, I don't understand. But that takes us to December. That takes us to the last month of 2025. Here we are at the very end of the year. We do have the crowning of the first AEW Women's Tag Team Champions during the Winter is Coming special in December. So the Babes of Wrath win, and that's the first belt we see on Willow Nightingale in 2025. Insanely deserved, and Harley Cameron is... I love her.
What a fun time.
Literally. Harley is so fun and so talented and just so unique. Like, in a sea of women's wrestlers who kind of, like, look the same gear-wise and aesthetic-wise, she stands out so much for just... Like, she has that Jennifer Aniston not afraid to laugh at herself quality, which I fucking love, and not afraid to like make a complete fool of herself quality. But then she's also got the wrath unhinged, like, crazy person kind of side.
I think she's just a crazy person.
I completely, yes, I think so. So yeah, well deserved. I think that was absolute right move for the first women's tag team champs. That's awesome. Another Winter is Coming standout was Fletcher versus Speedball. That was pretty cool to see. I liked that match. We've talked about how good Speedball is and how good Fletcher is, but just again, I don't know, it's hard to have a bad matchup on the AEW roster right now because genuinely everybody's really good, but those two, I don't know. Bandito defeats Ricochet for the Dynamite Diamond ring during Dynamite on 34th Street. So it's like the Christmas special. And Bandito gets that over
So I
Ricochet.
guess MJF doesn't have that.
No, he still has his. It's one of those things where, I guess like the Continental Classic or whatever, one of them. You just explained this to me the other day. I think it's the same way with the ring. You win it and like you just keep it. It's not like something that you like defend or whatever. It's just like they've got multiples.
I don't understand. Well, that's my issue. Why is there there should be just the one? MJF shouldn't have the ring anymore. If Bandito has the ring, you know what? That's fine. Anywho, I'm glad Bandito won. That would have been too much ego for Ricochet if he would have won that on top of that title this year.
Yeah, I don't think Ricochet should have won that. So I feel good. And like we said earlier, this is definitely 2025 was the year of Bandito. He won so much, champion multiple times over, and now also has the ring. He's the only other person in the company, I think, as far as I know, other than MJF to have the ring. So now we have a potential feud, which is already brewing between Bandito and MJF. So that's going to be fun. We've got the World's End pay-per-view. We'll just cut to the chase. MJF wins the AEW Men's World Championship in a 4-way match against Smojo, Hangman, and Swerve. Very unlikely choice out of those 4 men, I will say. I said it right at the beginning of the pay-per-view. I was like, what if MJF wins? I mean, he just came back. We haven't even seen him wrestle. He doesn't deserve it after all these other men have worked for it and struggled for it for weeks now. What if he wins? And then he did. Little shit.
I have no fucking words. There was no reason for him to be there, but sure fucking enough, he had to fucking win. And you know what? Screw you and MJF. I'm over it. He doesn't deserve it. He's not that good.
I do think he is that good. I think I don't know what's been going on.
Maybe there was a time.
Well, yeah.
And that's the hardest thing. I forgot who it was I heard say it. But, it's the hardest thing about peaking when you're young. You're going to spend a whole lot of time after that trying to recapture that, that peak momentum that you had. And fucking MJF's just not bringing it. He's done the same thing, the same gimmick over and over for years now, and he needs to do something different, and fucking all he's doing is becoming a bigger dick.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I don't think he is doing as much as he could be doing. I hope it is not a situation where he can't, like physically or otherwise, perform the same way he did maybe even just a couple years ago. I think it's just a timing thing. I don't know if he's like too wrapped up in movies doing other things right now. I mean, if your attention is pulled in multiple directions, you can't be 100% at everything you're doing if you're spreading your time across things. And it's not wrong to do other things. Do what you want to do. Like I've mentioned a couple times, I want to see that caliber of wrestling from him that I know he is capable of at least, or was, again. Especially now that he has that belt. Freaking do something. But other notable moments, Okada gets the screwdriver out of the turnbuckle cover situation. That was kind of fun. Okada versus Takeshita, that was an incredible matchup. And that was something, like you said, people had been waiting for a long time. And yeah, that was awesome to see. Okay, so I will say I absolutely loved Mixed Nuts Mayhem. Mixed Nuts was very fun. I didn't know how that was going to go, especially with the name. Like, I feel like sometimes AEW has these, like, random match names, but, or, like, themes or whatever. Yeah. But no, that was awesome. That was so exciting. And once again, more, like, intergender, cross-division matchups for AEW. Just seeing men and women wrestle together. Like, it's just so unique and so different and feels very fun. And everybody in that matchup did so great. It was exciting to see that. And then finally, as I've mentioned, as we've talked about a couple times, because it's just hard not to mention, because it's the best ever, fucking Willow Nightingale wins the TBS championship over Mercedes Money, which strikes a really pivotal point, I think, in Mercedes' downfall, finally. At this point, we've talked about it, throughout the year, she got up to 13 belts. Friggin' at this point, she's lost 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Yeah, it's at least 2, if not 3. And the TBS is a big one, I will say. Like, as far as her belts overall. And the TBS, wasn't that her only AEW?
Yeah, she's got like 50 from other promotions, but I do indeed think you're right. I think that's the only AEW belt she has, but I mean,
Yeah.
it could have been any belt. You love to see it, and especially if one thing hasn't been made clear, I think Willow is right behind Toni Storm in terms of like the women's division. And if there's not going to be Toni Storm who has the women's championship belt, it should be Willow. So it's not that, but it's like double victory. Took the belt from Mercedes, and Willow gets another belt. It's what's not to celebrate?
It's a win-win situation for sure. Nobody other than Toni Storm on the roster deserves to be the women's champion, and I do think that this leads Willow onto a path where she's going to be able to take the women's championship, probably from Statlander. I think it was cool to see Statlander come out and give Willow a hug when she won. Felt like a good best friends moment. It was cute, especially because we've seen them beef for so long.
Too much hugging in AEW.
No, not enough hugging. But it was a cool moment to see that, but I want to see them fight. I want to see Willow take the championship off Stat.
Yeah.
I want to see that. That's my next hopeful goal for the women in 2026. But what about wraps it up
That's it.
for 2025?
All of the notes.
All the notes, 9 pages.
Yeah, we might be called a lot of things, but not thorough isn't one of them.
I am thorough, if nothing else.
Very.